Hello, 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 everyone. It's mighty fine to be back. Mighty fine indeed. I know you all missed me as much as I missed you. Now, as the more astute observers amongst you have probably figured out by now, we're celebrating with an audio blog where, in the more traditional blog sense, I force my opinions upon you and you sit there captivated because you have nothing better to do. But enough wasting time. We're not going to do a lot of lead in here. Let's roll. By the way, you may notice a very subtle theme running throughout this video, but I'll say no more about that. Except... I recently watched the movie Gran Torino, which, if you haven't seen this, I would highly recommend it. One of the striking things about this movie, aside from the intriguing plot and the overall high quality of the picture, is the fantastic variety of racial slurs Clint Eastwood pulls out of the holster. Really, it's unbelievable. Words I've never even heard before. Words that, if you don't know what they mean, you would say, wow, I really like that word. I think I'll work it into my next conversation. Unfortunately, then you say, I think I'll have a chat with this Asian gentleman over here, and then you get punched in the mouth. Now, I should point out that we here at Stupid Question of the Day do not condone the use of these words. We place a very high priority on multicultural enrichment. In the words of Stephen Colbert, we don't see race. But in Gran Torino, these offensive words are second in quantity only to one other particular choice word. Yeah, that one. And honestly, Clint Eastwood delivering the lines containing these particular words borders on humorous, but not actually humorous, as we don't condone the use of these words. This is mainly because of the perpetual expression of intense anger that Clint Eastwood has on his face. I mean, look at this. That is one bad... that. That look says, if you come within 10 feet of me, I will kill you with the most convenient object available, regardless of what it is. I'm sure he's a nice guy and everything, but from what I've seen, well... I wouldn't want to get on his bad side.
Get off my lawn.
Yeah. I'm terrified just with that little 6 seconds of clip right there. Crunch! We now go very briefly to a word from our sponsor. This audio blog is being brought to you by Hydrocodone, relieving moderate to severe pain since 1943. Hydrocodone. Doctor prescribed. House approved. Thunk! As I indicated a few questions ago, I recently went to see Rise Against in concert. Now, they were amazing, but the opening acts were some of the worst I've ever seen. Specifically the second one, a band named Rancid. May have heard of them. If you have, I'm terribly, terribly sorry. Now, if you've never heard of them, Rancid are pretty big players in the punk rock scene. Well, they used to be, I think. Now they're just a bunch of washed-up fools that have become too old for their image, which they try so desperately to cling to. One of the things that made them so hard to endure was that they tried very, very hard to prove that they still had it. They never did, by the way, but they did so basically by making the show a tribute to themselves. Makes sense. They had a huge white sheet behind them that they used the entire time to project images of their younger selves. And they played their newest song, the one you hear in the background here, which they introduced as being About Rancid. The gist of it is, hey, we're still here. I don't know about you, but I can't take much more of that, so let's cut it off. Ah, yes, that's better. Almost as good as when they said those two magical words, last sung. Anyway, the whole thing was rather pathetic, and hard on the ears. But it got me thinking, the music scene would be so much better if bands knew when to hang it up. For example, in the case of Rancid, and many others like them, if you had gone from being the headliner to opening for a band that grew up listening to you, it's time to step aside. You know, it's better to go out on a high note, so to speak.
All right, that's it for me. We're good, everybody.
Or at least with a decent amount of respect. No one wants to see their favorite band make terrible music until they're back to playing for free at county fairs. It's a sad, sad spectacle. But for the great ones, they can make music as long as they want. But I think live performances should stop at a certain age. It just gets a little creepy sometimes. I mean, yeah. So old. They can still stay in the public spotlight. They just need to make the natural transition into acting.
I saw my baby crying hard as babe could cry. What could I do? My baby's love had gone and left my baby blue. Nobody knew what kind of magic spell to use.
Biff! Wait a second. Biff? That's not a fight sound. I've never hit anything and had the resulting sound be anything remotely close to that. Even hitting a person doesn't make a biff sound. That's more of an oof. Oh well, let's continue, shall we? It seems you can't flip on a TV or peruse the internet nowadays without hearing about Twitter. A few weeks ago I finally broke down and decided to see what all the fuss was about, and I have to tell you, not impressed. At first I thought that Twitter may be the first technological thing out there that was beyond me, that my old, early 20s self just couldn't grasp the concept. But then I realized something. It isn't that I don't get it. I mean, Twitter is essentially Facebook status updates without the extra frills of your usual social networking sites. No, the depressing conclusion that I finally came to was not that my tech savvy was fading, it's that I'm just far too boring to enjoy Twitter. No one in their right mind would want to keep up with my goings-on in 140 characters or less, and I assure you, it would always be less. Really, what am I going to say? I had Pop-Tarts for breakfast this morning. They were blueberry. I am watching Batman for the umpteenth time. I am posting on Twitter. I would need maybe 5 or 6 preset updates to send out, and I could just cycle through them. The most I would amass would be 3 pity followers. Many would say, well, I could just get onto Twitter for the other people's updates, but frankly, I'm of the opinion that there are very few people out there who are interesting enough to follow like that. And it would be so depressing. I'd be reading about all these exciting things that people are doing and interesting things they have to say and realize that my own existence is about as exciting as a How It's Made marathon. Besides, Facebook already owns my soul. I'm not splitting my soul for Twitter. Although the internet would make a great Horcrux. Even North Korea can't destroy that. Pow! Well, that's all the time we have. It's been fun. Questions should be back up and running now. We'll see how long that actually lasts. But, until Tuesday, friends.